Hi, Grace. Thank you so much for coming to campus. It's so nice to see you. It's been a few years now.
It's great to see you too.
Okay, so I wanted to start and kind of just hear where you have been since graduation, because I don't think I've seen you since your convocation. Maybe a bit after, but other than that, I just thought I'd start with, what have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I graduated, I guess, pre-COVID these days, and I started at RBC, more or less right after graduation. As a planning manager working internally for them. And right now, I am a business advisor for the Business Development Bank of Canada, helping medium-sized businesses be more competitive. Canadian businesses, I should say.
That's fantastic to hear that you're now at BDC. I do kind of want to know a little bit more, and if you could talk about how it was when you were in school. I do know you were a fellow and you were a soap ambassador. Those were the things that I saw you in, but do you want to talk more about what your experience was at SAF?
Well, I have mixed feelings. Looking back, maybe it's rose-colored glasses, but it was a very great experience. But at the time, it was definitely challenging, going through the rigorous academic curriculum at SAF.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I do know the mix, I understand it. As you know, I wasn't in SAF, but being at UW, I definitely understand that mix, but do you feel like that rigorous, or how do you feel like that really helped you with your career, where it led now? Do you feel like that rigorous academics, how do you feel like that built the foundation?
Honestly, it was hard during it, as you can imagine, but it's definitely given me the discipline that I've needed to kind of succeed in the roles that I've done. Even outside of accounting and finance, it really sets you apart from some of the other people that you may work with, just because you've been kind of through, you've been through it.
Yes. No, yeah, for sure. And speaking of setting apart, I do know that you did a study abroad term, and I do know that's of interest to a lot of students. A lot of people would like to hear that. Some people might not realize kind of that option. Could you talk a bit about your experience doing that?
Yeah, I think it was my year, but that was the first year that we were actually allowed to do a study abroad.
Yeah.
Like I said, rigors. And what I did is there was a lot of options in Waterloo where you could go to Europe, go to Australia, things like that. But what I decided to do was I kind of found my own study abroad. So I actually spent 4 months on a ship, traveling to, I think, 12 different countries while studying and getting credits.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea that you went to 12 different countries in 4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a kind of around the world tour,
Mm-hmm.
and while studying,
No, yes, of course. Yeah. But could I ask, of the 12 places, do you have a favorite that sticks out?
Oh, yes. Well, we went to places that I guess are not necessarily tourist destinations, right? My favorite was actually Myanmar. Yeah, it was refreshing to see, just something so different than what I'm used to every day. And the nice thing about the program was you had your academics while on the ship, right? But once you got in country, you can kind of, experience the culture, but also apply what you had just learned, right? All the courses are kind of designed that way in terms of you'll learn about Myanmar's, systems before you get there, right? In whatever courses you decide to take.
Wow, that is fantastic. I do know, I do remember that being the first, when you were here, that being the first time study abroad was an option.
Yeah.
Hearing that you kind of set that up yourself is impressive, and honestly, that's really exciting. And then, was that in, what year did you do the study abroad?
I think it was in 4th year, because I think that's when it became available.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, but wow, yeah. Grace, you had quite the experience here. So that was a 4-month, that replaced, did you do that after your last co-op term, and then that was how you ended?
Nope, so I did that was my 4A term, and then I did co-op in the summer, and then I came back and did 4B.
Awesome. That is fantastic.